I would like to welcome you all to the new shift of 12/21/2020. You have made it to the galactical alignment of time and luck. Therefore, you have been granted access to seeing the truth of who you are through this reading. We're going to be focusing on Chadwick Boseman. Why I wanted to show these cards specifically, because as you can see, I'm using this King of Cups simply because we have here, look at the mask, very much Black Panther-like. So I felt like this would be a very good connection for him. And in remnants and respect for the goddess Bast and Sekhmet, I'm going to bring some feline energy in here. Yeah, you know? So that way we can channel some good energies from what ancestors will have to say. Specifically from Chadwick to his people, or in general. Let's see what we have as far as like what we can pick up from the energy itself. The one thing that he seems to be expressing is, for one, he's talking about aspects of his own personal careers and decisions, showing me the Eight of Wands, being very communicative, and wanting to place himself in a position of actually letting it be known that he wanted to do some writing himself, probably pertaining to screenwriting or screenplays or just characters, or just writing out different aspects of either maybe series or sitcoms or different creative, innovative ideas, but wanting to probably take a more executive role is what he's kind of showing me. And I kind of feel like he is still in the process of just doing that more now than anything. Funny enough, because he's kind of like just moving forward. He's like just picking up wherever I left off, basically. He's showing me this Wheel of Fortune card, okay? So he's showing a lot of gratitude and very grateful for his own personal successes and for the things that he's accomplished in the life that he was around, or as far as being able to play in such a significant role as a Black Panther and many other movies like Jackie Robinson and other great features. Now, one thing that he is expressing, he's placing the Six of Pentacles in a situation because we're primarily focused on his life, but not only his life, as well as that movie. That movie made roughly, what, $1 billion? For his role, I would have thought that it probably would have been a bit more significant as far as his own pay and the things that he should have gotten for this. This is something that he always felt that he was destined to do anyway, though. This is the reason why he kind of took it within himself to focus on aspects of taking the spiritual wisdom as far as what he can give as a creative influence to others, in hopes that other people or other young Black men can take his example to becoming the King of Cups, you know, from the Knight to the King, basically. But he's expressing different financial struggles, or, you know, feeling that certain aspects of himself or people within his community are being, I guess you could say, neglected or cheated. And again, that kind of refers to this Three of Swords, again, having aspects of betrayal. Primarily, from what I keep seeing, it's coming from a space of things kind of being unfair, you know, time getting cut short, or just dealing with circumstances that are out of the control of life, basically. But the one thing that he is expressing, and I don't know, it seems to be that he's showing me the Nine of Cups, in regards to still maintaining a good relationship with other characters, like Michael B. Jordan, but celebrating with them still. You know, it's kind of somber. It's kind of like, you know, still hurt that certain things can't continue on, but he's still celebrating the greatness and the goodness that other people are able to bring to film and acting. And that seems to be pretty important. Now, I remember looking at his picture, and basically there was a picture of Chadwick as the Black Panther, and he has these claws, basically the feline claws. And I remember looking at the embroidery, and I'm probably going to post that on the video caption itself, but the embroidery on his suit, you could kind of tell that on his chest it looked like an ankh, but there's also this aspect of a cross. And I remember looking at that before even knowing that he was sick or anything, and just wondering, you know, there's just something fundamental about this character that's extremely important. I remember the day that he passed, I posted something hours beforehand in reference to an African proverb that was mentioned in the movie, one that rejects his, the child from the village will burn down the village, basically. And then there was word that he basically passed away right after that. This is at the bottom of the deck, the Hanged Man. Okay, so that makes sense. It's kind of like it's already scripted. I don't know why I'm hearing that, but that's already scripted. It's like walking down this path of destiny, but still accepting your fate as it is, because you have to give so much in order to awaken people and enlighten them as far as the things that are being targeted. Ooh, that's good. The things that are being targeted through our own personal powers or our own personal magic. He's still working. He's letting that be known. Three of Pentacles. He loves his job. His job is never going to end. He's putting a lot of significance in that his work will never end. His work is still continuing. He just feels that he can be used in other ways and other dynamics, and he's ecstatic about that. I'm going to see how he feels about Black Panther 2. I know, and I'm aware that he went to Howard. Very intelligent, extremely smart. But the one thing that I keep seeing about him is that he doesn't really like to put himself into like one specific aspect of idealism. He sees himself as like water, being able to kind of fluctuate through these different personas of expression that come from within him to give him a deeper awareness of who he is. Funny enough, asking about the second part of Black Panther 2. Okay, Two of Wands, partnership. He's saying this is something that Judgment card in the past is basically him going through his transition. He will be there spiritually. He will be there. That's something that he's letting it be known. Again, he keeps putting out this King of Swords, taking control or having some sort of authority over something. On his crown, the Hierophant, he is basically moving into a more spiritual practice or a more spiritual sense of how he's being written into this characteristic. So basically joining his spirit into another realm and being able to communicate with another is something that seems to be communicated. This is probably, again, the Hanged Man, a part of this aspect of dealing with sacrifice, you know, something that he has to strive for and give up in order to allow people to see the bigger picture of how important it is to maintain the art of your Blackness, or what it means to be such, or what it means to be a king, what it means to move through the phases of life and transition into a space of strength. Again, as you can see, young child, you know, looks like a little leopard there, you know, cat energy, maintaining strength. And I'm going to show you this. New opportunities, 3 of Wands, that come along. Because he is showing me the 6 of Cups. Look at that. Looks like a panther, doesn't it? How ironic is that? Wanting to be rejoined with the ones that he loves, that he made this movie with. It gives him strength. Gives him an opportunity to allow his presence to be known. He feels more at peace and at one with his ancestors and with his loved ones. It seems like there's nothing that's diminishing his character from this experience whatsoever. It's actually empowering him, because he's starting to see that this is something that he formidably accepted even when this road came along, and taking on this, you know, these characteristics of understanding ancestors, and possibly realizing that this was a journey that he would have to walk down himself, or that we all would have to walk down. Just to give a little bit of information about the goddess Bastet or Sekhmet. Okay, so that I'm just going to show you. This is like very much feline energy. And since we're talking about strength and cats and felines and Black Panthers, Bastet, okay, Sekhmet, their energy is very much in the aspect of protection. I will tell you right now, I will say this, that Bastet, she's very picky. And she doesn't like talking to everybody, by the way. Bastet, she is a bit more selective about who she allows into her domain or into her presence, basically, and who she's willing to share information with. She can be very catty. But if you are a familiar friend to her, she'll give you healing energy. She will allow you to protect yourself from forces. Sekhmet is more of the destroyer. She's more of the ferocious one. She's the one, not to say that Bastet can't be ferocious, but she's a bit more coy when she does her business. Sekhmet, she does her business in the sun, and she does her business in the dark. She doesn't care. She is the destroyer. She is the warrior. She's a bit more ferocious. She's the lioness energy. So both of them have coinciding female energies to them. Bastet is more of a protector. She's more of someone that is looking for secret herbs, secret passages, and spiritual avenues in order to communicate and in order to give life and spirituality a different meaning. They would often say that cats have 9 lives simply because they can see through the 9 realms that are projected through Egypt. This is foundational information that I was told to actually share from what he was asking me. This gets people back to their root, is what he kept saying, as far as his role and why he feels that he's still a poignant piece in this scenario. So that's good. I just want to see something as far as anything that he might want to communicate through my little moon deck. Please keep in mind that you all can become members now. So please subscribe, like, hit the bell, become a member, support the channel. If you all would like personal consultations, $45 for 30 minutes, $50 for video chat. If you want to do a phone call, again, it's $45 for 30 minutes. You can hit me up at queenprodigy0369 or queenprodigy369@gmail.com. You can also check me on Etsy as well, where you can have those prices available and you can book it. And basically, the better you book, the sooner you book, the quicker I get to you. And that is how it works. So this is his moon information that he wants to communicate. So basically, your hard work is being... your hard work is paying off. Sorry. Can't read it backwards, but yeah, your hard work is paying off. A win-win outcome in the forecast is what he's showing. Finding balance. This is a time to give rather than to take. He seems to be very much in grounding energy, wanting definitely to see this as a step forward. Stepping out of your comfort zone. It's kind of like embracing things from your past. This is something that was a bit more nerve-wracking for him, given the fact that you know, the transition from life moving into death was a bit, you know, unforeseen, but there's a part of him that allowed him to accept what his higher power is asking of him. And the situation is your commitment is being tested. Again, it's about being able to pass that transition into a higher spiritual awareness, simply because you can harness more power. I don't know why I keep hearing that. It keeps saying to look at the bigger picture. He does things to give people the awareness of how important it is to execute what you're trying to convey to the next generation, or what you want your people to become aware of. For instance, when looking at the Black Panther women warriors, for instance, you know, they had their whole everything crossed and wearing red and everything. That's actually from the Dahomey tribe of women who would actually fight to protect their kings. So little things like this are actually, you know, mentioned to kind of reawaken who we are and trying to rediscover what we need to know about ourselves. You and your loved ones are safe, okay? So this is something that he's pretty much putting so much into in order to protect those and to give security to. So this is very much important for him, of what he wants to communicate. He's in this verge of surrendering to the divine, basically. Wanting this situation as far as like his life, or what is meant to be in his life, as surrendering to the divine for a greater purpose. And it's talking about a personal issue is reaching resolution. And it's a time for healing, basically. That's the message that he wants to give to his people. What can we take from these movies, and not just to look at it from the aspect of the surface, because they're only going to give us the surface in these movies. When do we actually go within ourselves to understand our own superpowers, to understand that these superpowers are still within us and they're very much strong and thriving, and they just seek the right medicines, or the right wisdom, the right knowledge to unlock all of these secret codes within ourselves. These things are more than just movies. They're actually real things that are definitely possible and definitely do exist. It's just that people will keep you away from yourself, because 1 minute everybody down for Wakanda, And in the next minute, they're trying to say you can't talk to the dead, but we'll still watch Lion King. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. The one thing that keeps being mentioned over and over again, and this is something that that seems to be in the way, or seems to be talked about a lot. Here's his card. He's talking about, in his past, the sufferings of what he had to deal with, his own personal health and deterioration, and the things that he kept very much to a minimum, and choosing to keep things to a minimum. But also showing this hanged man here, knowing that he's taking on this prolonged risk into this journey, again, into a form of communication with this Judgment card. He's basically moving into the duat in order to communicate on a higher level. He's placing this Tower card in the situation. Certain things are abrupt, or certain things kind of force this specific change, but regardless of the hands that try to move time, he moves in with faith. Seems to be putting this out a lot, having a lot of faith and a lot of spiritual power, like a priest energy, very powerful energy. He feels that he has more control over himself because he's placing this King of Wands and the King of Swords again. Two very powerful cards from a spiritual perspective, and from the perspective of taking authoritative energy, utilizing the moon in order to communicate, or in order to channel his energy, is what he seems to be saying. This will probably bring a lot of abundance and wealth to his family, which is good, but also to his community. But he wants there to be some aspects of being able to inspire other younger men, younger kids to see, younger boys specifically, to see that they can be powerful kings, to see that they can be powerful characters and dominate Hollywood, and to move into film, and to move into production, or to move into powerful roles. And I think that's something that he really strives for, because it seems like this is something that he is still trailblazing through. And he wants there to you know, to still see so many different successes. This Three of Cups, he wants there to be so much success for future generations, to see that it is possible to educate yourself, to still maintain your faith, but to still have an open mind to who you are within your culture, and not to be ignorant to the stipulations of what the consciousness of conformity tells you to believe, or what others tell you is acceptable or unacceptable as a Black person. Spirituality is a beautiful thing. And I often tell people that even when they look at these things and they say, oh, you know, these are tarot cards, etc. Yeah, these actually come from the Kabbalah, which is actually within your First Testament of your Bible, which is, you know, reference to Christianity in general, which was founded in Egypt. But we're not going to talk about all of that. These are things that people have to discover about who they are. Who are you? Are you ready to ask Basset who you are? Because she'll tell you. She knows all of the secrets.